Well, having some technical issues. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jed A, and I am your host of LANE County Wellness Corner. LANE County Wellness Corner is an offshoot and a communication channel for LANE County Wellness Consortium. And this has been formed exclusively to bring dedicated professionals from all fields of wellness together with a common goal to increase and perpetuate opportunities to directly and indirectly serve LANE County, Oregon's community with quality, innovative professionals dedicated to promoting healthy-centered mental health and physical lifestyles for an ever-evolving landscape. And we do this weekly with our podcast. LANE County Wellness Corner is a podcast that interviews local and chats with local LANE County wellness professionals. This 1 hour weekly show has several goals in mind to introduce you to practitioners and organizations, learn about the specialties and services, what types of clients they work with and serve, and most importantly, how long it takes to get an appointment. This is a critical aspect of the consortium. With the demands on services has never been so high, in many cases, a client can't even get the help they need. Tune in and learn what you may not know about wellness in the LANE County area and the latest updates to find the right professional and organization that meets your needs. My guest today is Max Fabry. She is the founder and CEO of LANE County Wellness Consortium. Actually, let me pull up some information for her right now. If you want to get a hold of Max, you can get a hold of her at her email, which is coming across the bottom of the screen right now. Max is, her pedigree is quite diverse, and she has provided services, many different services throughout LANE County for over 40 years. A graduate, University of Oregon and LANE Community College. Her master's program in sociology, history, and counseling psychology is emphasis with qualitative research. Well, let me bring Max on right now. There we are. Max, can you hear me? Sorry we had a little bit of technical issues to start off. Nope, I don't hear her. We'll figure it out. Hang on. Max, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Right. And so can everyone else can hear you too. Max, thank you so much. This particular show is an update from the first show that we did a couple months ago, and wanted to get an update of the consortium and an update of the Work in Progress website. How are you this morning?
I am doing well. Thank you.
Good. Awesome. So tell us a little story about the consortium. What did that, what was your mindset when you set out to develop this application?
Well, I have lived in Lane County for quite a while now, and uh, I have been in my private practice for over 25 years. And what I have learned, as most of the long-term residents here in Lane County have learned, is how difficult it is to maneuver our wellness system.
Mhm.
And I use the word wellness to define like a conglomerate of ways that we can improve our health and our everyday living. Uh, that doesn't only mean mental health. That doesn't only mean our physical health or our spiritual health. It
Mm.
requires all three levels: the mind, the body, and the center.
Yeah,
And trying to find providers that are compatible with us as individuals takes a really lot of work. And once we do find a compatible provider, they're usually scheduled out for many months. I remember waiting on my personal doctor for 8 months because she's the one I wanted. She was a naturopath, and I had
right.
to wait that long to get in. But everybody seems to have to do this. I recently had a friend that needed a heart test, and she was given an appointment like 6 weeks out for a
Wow.
heart test.
Yeah,
No, my idea was to combine uh, all three blocks, the mind, body, and center, into one website that would be accessible and have providers primarily and only from the Lane County.
yeah. Well, you had previously created a digital interface on a national basis many years ago, and that was very successful. And now you're narrowing your focus locally. Uh, why did you do that? Why did you choose to do that? What was the reason for um, narrowing the focus?
Uh, because when I first developed Online Wellness Association, it was national. Uh, we were just starting to do wellness online. And so, again, like when I started in my business 25 years ago, I had clients all over the world. Uh, there was there wasn't any boundaries to being able to, like, if my client moved to England, I could continue seeing her.
Hmm.
Um, Nowadays, that is not happening. What a lot of people are may not know is there's a problem with if you are seeing, say, a mental health counselor or therapist, and you go out of state.
Oh yeah,
Therapist is not allowed to give you sessions online.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
their licensing forbids that from happening. And it's like a wild west out there right now as far as what states are doing this and what states aren't. So all of the wellness practitioners are also catching up with, or the rules are catching up with how we are doing business now online.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
the other problem with having a national site uh, is that uh, people are trying to get appointments like in New Jersey from Oregon. Uh, that if they can get it faster than in Lane County, they'll find a way to do that because
yeah,
they want attention.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so being able to have uh, all of the wellness practitioners on one local site within our county may help to find a practitioner to begin with,
Yeah.
and then take it from there. And on the website that we're delivering, it's going to say whether that wellness practitioner has immediate openings or not. Imagine that.
Hmm.
How wonderful that would be.
Yes. Yeah. It would be amazing to have some foresight into what me as a client is looking forward to as they navigate that. And and I do have to say the navigation is quite complicated today, especially in the light of the Zooms or the online counseling, or what's the terminology that they currently use. But anyway, I appreciate your your willingness to develop and create an opportunity to serve the local community. It's talk to me a little bit about where the website is at this point. Do you where are we with the website?
It's in development right now, so I will leave it at that. I do want to mention two other points about having uh, Lane County Wellness. And the biggest one is uh, Oregon is primarily a rural state. We don't
Correct.
have a lot
Yes.
of cities. And uh, right now, today, it's very expensive for people to drive in from even Marcola because the gas prices are so high. Um, we want to be able for the rural communities of Lane County to be able to access the wellness that they need, whether it be a MD or a yoga instructor. You know, we want the rural areas to be as accessible to have their wellness needs met as somebody that lives in the city.
Yeah.
So that's a really big focus.
Yeah. It really has. Services have been uh, compromised today. This is 2026, and we're finding ourselves looking for opportunities to serve, but we're also looking at the finances associated with that service. And unfortunately, uh, with the changes in Medicare, Medicaid, and the support services, it's rather difficult.
Right.
So you're right; they do have to come a long ways for services.
And on our page, if a practitioner is a member, not only will it say that they have immediate openings, it will also say whether they carry insurance or not, and what kind of insurance they carry. And basically on our site, it'll have a picture of the practitioner. It will have their name and their credentials, whether they have openings, and what kind of insurance they take.
So let's kind of back up a little bit. I want you to talk a little bit more in depth about the origination of the consortium. The consortium has been around roughly what, a year and a half, 2 years.
Right, we're on our second year, and the first year, and it'll probably end up being the first 2 years, is just really setting up our bylaws, appointing people to our board. It's like it's we're building the house right now, is what we're doing.
Hmm. So, what is it that the consortium needs right now? What would help to bring about uh, the positive change that you're looking for as the CEO and developer of this consortium, this organization? What is it that is needed right now?
Well, of course, we need to have some working capital, which we don't because it's all been self funded so far. But a lovely young woman has stepped up to help us write grants.
Oh,
And
beautiful. Awesome.
we will. And we will be in that. When you're always writing grants. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of money has been cut from everything from
Yeah.
SNAP to funding the universities. Nobody is safe.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now, and thanks to you, we have our podcast, which is one of the most important. One of the important foundations of the Wellness Association. So what you're doing is you're sort of cutting the way for us that when the website comes on, people are going to know what it's about. They're going to be able to access it as soon as it comes up, and we want to make that as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'll give a foreknowledge. Next week we have Dr. Silberman, who is a psychotherapist, and on the 26th we have a hypnotherapist, Alexandra Kolner, and then we're booked out clear till April 9th. Mark McMahon, he's a local SUDS counselor and author, and of course Ron Younger, who is a big proponent in the area of schizophrenia, and so we have many guests coming on board. If you would like to be, uh, I put that on the ticker. Yeah, if you'd like to be a guest on the show for Max and I, we would love to have you. Definitely let us know. Anyone that lives in Lane County, works in Lane County, and provides services, social services, in a broad spectrum. I mean, it's just not social services. Dr. Silberman is a PhD in psychotherapy. We've had MDs, and looking for a broad range of service providers. We would love to chat with you. So get a hold of Max or I, either or, and we'll set you up with a time to come and spend with us on this podcast on a weekly basis. And
May I interrupt?
yeah, yeah, please do,
Yeah,
Max.
I'm really glad that you mentioned about Dr. Silverman coming on because, one of the goals that we have in Lane County Wellness is my dream is to have a lobbyist that will
Uh,
someday lobby for the wellness career tracks be funded. Uh,
yeah,
Other states do it. They will fund, say, nurses as long as they sign a contract to work within the state for 3 years. Um, my idea would be that mental health would also be funded for education, with maybe signing a 5-year contract to stay in our state, because one of the issues that we have in Lane County is not having enough wellness practitioners,
yeah.
and the uh, the rules for licensing are ambiguous, and they are stifling the work that our mental health people do.
Thank you for saying that, because I just read an article yesterday with regard, and I don't want to get off on this track too far. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I will say that with the advent of AI, it has created some real concerns in the social system. Something that is near and dear to my heart. We have relationships with these clients, long term relationships with these clients. And now we're seeing a shift in the energy around uh, practitioners, their licensing, their availability. And it is, I do have to say, a little concerning.
What do you see as the biggest concern?
Well, I see the biggest concern is that we aren't able, even even this media, you and I are sitting in front of a screen having a conversation. I I know this is a way of getting a message out to the world, but it concerns me that this is becoming an acceptable path. This is becoming an acceptable path to treatment. And I honestly am really struggling with this this kind of interface. If I'm not able to sit in front of a client, or I'm not able to touch the client, I'm not able to feel the energy, uh, I'm I'm really having a tough time. And I see this as, go ahead, Max, go please.
Well, I was just going to say, uh, you know, at our last wellness meeting, board meeting, I shared with all of you a paper that I'm
Oh
the
yeah,
22nd century mental health approaches. And I often, when I'm sitting particularly in front of a generation millennial or Z, I feel like I'm sitting on the moon
yeah.
listening to what they're going through now. And there are people that live online. Their whole social life is online. And, how do we approach that? So I've been researching where this might going, trying to predict what we're going to need even 10 years from now. We're that close. Uh, yeah. So
I yeah, I I understand that technology in a lot of ways has been very beneficial for the human condition. I understand that from a medical perspective, but there's a unique relationship that developed between a practitioner, whether it's a psychologist or a doctor or a therapist or whatever. There's a connection that's made with these personnel and the clients. And I see telehealth. That was the word I was looking for. The telehealth that we are experiencing as a result of COVID, which happened many, many years ago, several years ago anyway. Uh, we were forced into this lane, and I was hoping to see that we would come away from that, but it appears that that's not the case. It appears that we are doing more and more and more digital interfacing. Uh, I I gotta say I'm not okay. I'm not okay with that.
and that's because we, our generation, and the generations even before us, started out with these things they called family physicians, where you actually went into the office and you would sit right next to the doctor, and then you would let the doctor, you could point to what is hurting or what is going on in your body. And the doctors actually listened because they weren't held to 12 minutes of seeing their clients in the office by the insurance company. Heaven forbid they go to 15 minutes. They may not get paid for that session.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is where we're going. I think we're out of the realm of backing up or stopping it.
Yeah,
And
I agree, Max.
yeah,
I don't think.
I'd like to refer people to the book that was written in 1930 called Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And if you read that book, you think, oh my gosh, where is this coming from? I just recently reread it. I read it when I was 20 years old. I recently reread it, and it seemed like, well, this isn't nonfiction.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
this is
nonfiction.
where we are.
This is where we're at,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's any turning back, Jed.
The article that I was referring to was an article that was posted on LinkedIn yesterday. AI models predict new visions, mechanisms in the real brain. And uh, it then took me on to a couple other locations of where AI is being used as an educator for doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, those in the behavioral health world, and it really concerns me. I know, I know that we're not going to be able to turn time back, but I do have some deep concerns about where this is taking us.
Uh, I can understand your concerns, and I sure had them when I first started opening my eyes and seeing what was really happening. And technology is going to follow. Uh, the alpha generation is being born right now. They're not going to even have a clue of what we went through in our generation.
Yeah, no idea.
That's going to be like we're in the Jetson stage, you know.
Yeah, that brings up a conversation I had with my son. Uh, Probably must have been, hmm, see, he's 31, so 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. I noticed that he was developing a relationship with someone, and most of it was by text. And I I took him aside and I shared with him. I said, "You cannot have a healthy relationship with someone uh, uh, in a digital fashion. You just it." And of course, this was long before where we are right now. It literally scared the daylights out of me. And I still think of that conversation I had with him, that you cannot have a healthy relationship with someone in a digital environment. It's striking and it's troubling. We
You,
gotten off track a little bit. I'm sorry, Max.
you know what? This is part of by having the podcast, you can have conversations like this. That like
Yeah,
right, and I'm going to just change it. Well, I'd love to continue talking about what's happening on the future.
good. Change the
I'd
subject.
like to make a little um, kudos to your guest from last week, Dan Bert,
Yeah,
Bert. Um, if I was on the tour of Camp Alma a couple weeks ago, and having being a boomer, having lived through Vietnam, I need to tell everybody out there that they need to know what Camp Alma is, particularly today,
yeah.
because 11 days ago we went into war. And I'm not going to get political on this, but I just want to
I
mention
might.
all those veterans out there.
Yeah,
They are triggering right now.
yep.
And I had a chat with the people on my team about we need to be very up to date on our information about uh, uh, TB, I'm sorry, um, about stress disorder. And we have to really tune into our clients that are veterans
Yeah.
because they're going to trigger. As a matter of fact, this morning I triggered when I watched something on the news, and I'm not going to mention it because it was horrible, but uh, these veterans are going to be triggering, and we as mental health workers need to be aware of that and tune
Yeah.
into them. We need
Yeah.
to get information out there to the public about what does traumatic not I keep going into traumatic brain injury, sorry, but what does stress disorder look like? A lot
Yeah.
of people don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah,
actually have a program here locally in Eugene called the trauma. Let me grab.
that's Onger's
There
trauma.
you.
Yeah, project.
No, no,
This
no. This is called the trauma. Um, okay, I'm gonna pull up her information, and it dawned on me when you said that Dan has been, he served in the military. He came up with the idea of putting together this Camp Alma program for veterans. I'm pulling her information up right now. Hang on. Message. In fact, I sent out Elaine Walters is the director of. Hang on. She's the director, executive director of the Trauma Healing Project,
right,
which
and
is.
Ron conducts a group over there also.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
and
Anyway,
go ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say there there is a difference between veterans PTSD
Oh, yes.
and maybe somebody that's gone through a child abuse PTSD.
Right.
There is a difference. Initially, post traumatic stress disorder was a diagnosis that was given to the military. And over about the last 30 years, maybe 25, um, it has sort of gone into a general term called post traumatic stress disorder, and it could be any kind of disorder.
Yeah.
And the reason that I'm referring to it now is because we are going to have a lot of veterans triggering. And I just want people to be aware that if dad or grandpa all of a sudden gets mean, you have to ask yourself the question first: was he in the military?
Right.
And what war was he in?
Well, I do remember and have to, acknowledge this that both of us were raised with the first war on TV that we saw every evening at 7 o'clock, the Vietnam, uh, whatever you want to call it, conflict, war. It was on the news every single evening. And that was the first example uh, of what I would consider to be, a stress on individuals that actually weren't over there, weren't involved in the war, but that saw it on TV for the first time. Uh, we came out of World War II. We came out of Korea, but we didn't see it on the news every night until the Vietnam War. And I have to say, honestly, that I was traumatized as a young child, uh, hearing, the casualties every evening, how many, who they were, and I grew up expecting that I was going to be drafted to go to war. Uh, it ended right before I turned of legal age, but it is. it is an event that many of our clients uh, experience traumatic stress disorder in many ways. So you're right. I I agree. It's a tragedy.
Well, one of the ways, and I grew up during, my dad was in World War II. He was a gunner on the side of a ship. So he was shooting at an airplane with a gun,
Hmm.
basically, and of course was wounded. But, the government, when World War II was over and they started transitioning everybody back home, the government did a lot to sort of help with that transition, trying to redefine things for people.
Mm.
Like up until World War II, women didn't work in the factories. And of course, when World War II was at its height, the women did get to go and work in the factories. So, there was a cultural change right there.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, of course, all the men went over to war. Uh, when when everybody started coming back from World War II, the government actually invested money in TV shows to reculturize us again. And so they had to, first of all, get the women to agree to go back in the home and be moms and housekeepers and wives. And so they made TV shows like what? Can you think of some shows they might
Oh,
make?
sure. What was the real popular one was the Korean conflict. Oh, yeah. I I got
Leave
it. I
leave
see
it
it.
leave it to Beaver.
Oh, never thought about that one. Yeah,
You
you're right.
you have to think of the ones where they put the woman back in the kitchen, put
Right.
put pearls around her neck, and had her do dishes.
Yeah. Right.
That's a clear message, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Sublingual. Uh, with with getting the servicemen reestablished, I can remember sitting watching endless movies about World War II.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
unlike what we saw with Vietnam, we didn't see dead bodies,
Yeah.
but we would see these massive ships. We would see the airplanes firing. We never saw dead bodies,
You
and
know that
that was
it,
on purpose.
you
Uh,
you bring up a really important picture for me, and it is one that even to this day, actually, I saw it online the other day of the individual holding a pistol against the head of a young Vietnam person, and that picture has been shown around the world multiple times since the picture was taken, and it it brings back some really dark memories. I remember I'm born and raised, lived here in Eugene, and I remember the windows rattling and shaking when the kids at University of Oregon went into the armory and blew up a bunch of trucks, right? And that kind of trauma that's so close to home really some brings back some trying moments. Yeah,
and you can see, if I can see that it's affecting you just talking about that. So you can only
yeah,
imagine how our servicemen
yeah,
feel, you
yeah.
know. Uh, and the government never spent a lot of money on transitioning people back home or reculturizing us. And, we went through it as a generation, and it's still lingering. And when things like this happen right now, it's re triggering everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So, and It does matter, by the way, if we refer to it as a conflict or a war, because when Vietnam was never a war, it was always a conflict.
Yeah, right.
And if it had been declared a war, it would have cost the government more money because the guys that served over there weren't getting the combat pay that they were supposed to get because it was not a war. When the young married, the uh, the wives and children of the soldiers had to go home.
Yeah.
They had to pay their own way. They
Yep.
had to find a place to live.
Yep.
So there were a lot of benefits. And then PTSD wasn't even treated until the 80s.
Yeah, no, that's correct. That wasn't even part of the uh, DSM manual at that time. They didn't
And
even realize what it was.
I'm triggering myself by talking about it. But as you
Yes, me
mentioned,
too.
my third discipline is history. And I use history, counseling, psych, and sociology in my practice.
Yeah.
So I'm a different kind of counselor. But I do want to go back to Camp Alma and just say that if there are any skills that anybody has that can volunteer, we're all so much needed out there. Uh,
Yes.
and if all I can do is mention it on this program right now, I'm very grateful that you're letting me do this. At
I'm going to
least,
bring up Dan's information. Let's do this. Let's go to a commercial break, and I'll bring up Dan's information from Camp Elmo.
all right, thanks.
Lifestyles Renewed is a place where you can find a safe and welcoming place to begin to heal and create a life where suffering is not the regular path, but rather where you can learn to manage your life in a healthy way. Lifestyles Renewed will offer hope and help you regain control over your life. Please don't hesitate to call. Your first consultation is the most important meeting, and it is at no cost to you. Just call 541-954-1268. Again, 541-954-1268. Thank you, and we look forward to meeting you.
Okay, we'll bring Max back, and I pulled up Veterans Legacy is the name of the organization. Camp Elma. Camp Alma, actually, it's spelled ALMA, and it's out South Siuslaw River Road, out past Lorain. And I'm going to actually put the web address into the chat box. That's the easiest way for me to do it. So here's the address of Camp Alma.
Good.
Dan, uh, let's see here, Buckwald is his name, who is the individual that we had on the show last week. Amazing man. The commitment that he has. He was a serviceman. Uh, uh, he was fortunate that he did not have to see what we're seeing today or what we saw in Vietnam. But it's still, he was a serviceman who gave, 4.5 years to the Air Force, and he's still giving back. You can look at our previous uh, shows on our YouTube account, and I'll put that up on the screen as well. Uh, anyway, that's what Max was referring to was Veterans Legacy, which is an amazing opportunity for veterans locally to have some place to go. We're seeing an increase in substance abuse. We're seeing an increase of uh, incarcerations. We're seeing an increase in homelessness in that population. And it was a great opportunity to chat with someone who's given back. So I'm going to put that. I put that in. I'm trying to do this on the fly, so bear with me,
While you're doing that, can I mention again
please.
the trauma healing project? And
Yes.
I recently attended a meeting there to see what it was all about, and it is like a weekly group that meets on Thursdays, and uh, they are people that hear voices, and uh, that diagnosis is growing rapidly also
Yeah.
because there are a lot of street drugs and regular drugs that have taken if you don't need them, they cause voices. And so this is something that it's a growing issue, particularly among the street people that get drugs from anywhere. And there's perfectly healthy people also in their everyday lives that hear voices. And so Ron Unger leads this group for people that hear voices. And it is held at the Trauma Healing Project, which I believe is on 12th Street, 19th, 631 East 19th Street in Eugene. It's over by the university. And they can call over there. Let's see, I have a phone number. Uh,
I'll put the web address and the phone number on the screen also right now.
okay. So it's good for people to know that we have that resource in our community. And this is a really good example, Jed, of what the Lane County Wellness Consortium is all about. It's providing it's providing ways of getting help, ways of knowing knowledge of what's going on out in the world with diseases, insurances, the services that we have available here in Lane County to address these everyday problems. Um, so we'll just keep at it. We'll just keep expanding. And Lane County will be the best resource within itself someday.
Yeah. I ran across a young practitioner yesterday. I haven't been able to make contact with him, so I really don't have a lot of background on him. But through my LinkedIn connections, another gentleman who is providing some services as well. So there is an awakening. There is a. I'm looking for the phone number. Hang on with me. Oh, contact. There we go. Okay, so I put the email for the healing project, and I am going to put all of this 631. Oh, it's not letting me. There we go. All right, I got it. Uh, I'm going to put this on the ticker and add it and then show it. Anyway, so you got the website. And here's the phone number 541-687-9447 is info about the healing project in Eugene. An amazing organization that is dealing with trauma at uh, I would say, at a more depth. Uh, anyway, I have been to their location, and it's a super program. So glad. Thank you, Max, for bringing that up.
I really appreciate you inviting me again. And uh, since we're partners, I'm really so appreciative that you agreed to host this podcast so we can build a foundation to bring our website aboard. And, hopefully we could do the inaugural on your podcast.
That would be awesome. So let me give you an update of who's coming again this next week. We have Dr. Silberman. Dr. Silberman is a psychotherapist here in Eugene who his specialty is neural. I'll have to. When I jump to this and I don't have all my ducks in a row. Sorry about that. Anyway, on the 26th, we have Alexandra Kolner. She is um, a hypnotherapist. I'm excited for that one. On the 2nd is Mark Moran. He's a local author and someone who has spent a lot of time writing about his addiction and substance abuse. And then Ron Younger. Max had mentioned Ron in several situations. He is a proponent for hearing voices. He's another psychotherapist, psychologist, individual who deals with schizophrenia. And then Dr. Silberman, pull his information up. He'll be here next week, and yeah, there it is. Right. Dead air online is not a good thing. So bear with me that I've given you some dead air. I'm looking for his information. Oh, it's not right handy. Silberman. Yep, there he is. Dr. Silberman will be our guest next week. He is a PhD in psychology as a clinical director, and he's a licensed clinical psychologist. And his focus on his practice is psychotherapy along with neuro, what is it? Traumatic brain injury. He uses neurofeedback as one of the treatments, and he'll be our guest next week. So I just want to thank you, Max, for your commitment to this community. You've been here a long, long time, and I can't begin to tell you how appreciative I am for you in my life and the things that you have helped me with as well. So I'm just glad you're here.
We're a team. We're a team. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. So we will end the show a minute or two early. Thank you, Max. I'm glad you're working on this project, LANE County Wellness Consortium, and you'll be able to tune in weekly with us on LANE County Wellness Corner. Thank you so much for your commitment. I do want to make one plug for our YouTube channel. Click the like button and also click the connect button there so that you are notified when we go live with our show on Thursdays, 11:30 to 12:30, every Thursday Pacific time. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you very much.